common knowledge that people think that Gen Z can't afford to have children. As a Gen Zer who has a child, let's talk about this trend. Now, a lot of Gen Zers will say that the reason that they don't want children is because they feel that they would not be able to provide that child with a strong financial future. But here's the hole in that theory. The truth of the matter is that for generations, people have been having children regardless of financial status. In fact, if you look through the vast majority of history, people had children regardless of whether they were poor or not. Now, I do think that the intent to financially prepare and be stable for your child is very important. But when I hear a fellow Gen Zers say that they're waiting till they're financially stable before having children, and they live within the United States, they have a job in the United States of America, I think we need to take a step back and redefine what financial stability is. If you are someone who is looking to have children and you're Gen Z and you're a little bit worried about the finances, this video is definitely for you. So if you're someone who says, you know what, I want to be financially stable before I have children, but there are some things that you can do now to prepare for that financial stability. The truth of the matter is, if you live and work in the United States, you are in the top 1% of the world's wealthiest people. So congratulations, a round of applause, go you. But what that also means is you're financially stable. You are, just in comparison to the entire world, you are financially stable enough to have children. But you may not be prioritizing your expenses in a way that's going to allow for that. And I think that that's where the conversation shifts. Maybe you have a lot of student loans. Me and my husband had $76,000 right when we got married, and we paid that off in 2 years and 1 month after we already had our baby. Actually, was when we finally finished. We just had a couple months of payments left. And if I hadn't taken my maternity leave, we actually would have probably had it paid off 3 months earlier, so in under 2 years. But the reason that we were able to do this and set ourselves off on a financially stable foot is because we prioritized what was truly important. Family was our priority with our budget, and so that reflected our budget even long before we ever had children. In fact, for me, I saved a lot of my money just because I am a natural saver, while still getting to spend on the occasional ice cream out with friends or a fun project that I had come up with, whether that was knitting, beekeeping, having goats, or whatever. But my goals were always there, and so because of that financial priority, I was very intentional about saving up and being wise with my money. I actually graduated school with zero debt. And I knew when I got married that I'd be marrying someone with debt. It just would matter about how much, unless they were in a very financially privileged family. So because of this, I had the foresight, and I'm very grateful to my parents because of this, to be able to save that money. And we used a bit of that to help pay down the debt when we got married. However, beyond the issue of debt or no debt, there is also, I think, this perception that people have that in order to truly prepare for children, or in order to truly value children, you have to give them financial access. So people don't just want to be financially stable, they want to have financial access. The whole 2-car lifestyles, the fanciest cars on the market. Is it safe for your children, right? The marketing companies, they know how to get you. And so we spend all of this money. Do you have a house? That's another big question. Do you have a house? And if you don't have a house, you can't possibly have a child. Because heaven forbid, your child lives in a smaller space than that. We currently live in a 3-bedroom apartment. My husband works part-time from home and then part-time in the field. So it works out for us to do this. But in past times, we've had smaller apartments, and in fact, when we were just married, we were living in someone's basement. And so we made those financial priorities then to reflect the kind of lifestyle that we wanted to live today. So if you currently have a really high mortgage that's keeping you trapped in that two-income lifestyle, but you know you want to be a stay-at-home mom one day, or your husband and you know you want to be able to provide if your wife wants to stay home. An encouragement I would give to you is downsize your lifestyle now so that you can upsize as you grow, instead of living a super frivolous upsized lifestyle now and then having to downsize as you have children. Now, if you're in the other boat, you've already upsized your lifestyle and you're gonna have to downsize in order to have children, I would say it's worth it. I love being a mom, and having children is a huge value to me. I love my little boy. He's crazy and fun and energetic, and getting to teach him is one of my favorite jobs. But in spite of popular belief, I didn't do this because I'm privileged. We don't have a large income. We're just average, everyday, normal people who made intentional choices with our lifestyle. I call it being the stewarding mom. So if you want to become the stewarding mom and be intentional with your finances, you have to really crunch the numbers, get out of debt, see what money you have to save, and really honestly evaluate how much children actually cost. Because the culture will tell you that it's $200,000, I think, to raise children. Now, don't forget that there's some wealthy people giving a lot of excess to their children, which is going to impact that average. Just because the average says that doesn't mean that that's going to be the actual cost for you. And for us personally, we actually only spent $60 in expenses that were related to my son in the first 16 months of his life. Yes, I was breastfeeding him. Yes, I ate more food because I was breastfeeding, but we just readjusted our grocery budget a little bit, and we didn't actually end up spending more in our grocery budget. Our taste buds just got a little bit less, I guess you could say. So if you're looking to become that stewarding mom and to pursue having a family, do it. Do it in spite of what the economy says. And honestly, I really believe that most people can reasonably afford this lifestyle. I have a free budget template that my husband and I used when we paid off our debt, and that we still use to this day to keep our budget. At the link below, you can click on that and grab that. And I thank you so much for watching.